An aerial view of central Montana at twilight, wide open plains and rugged mountain ranges fading into the distance. The land is barren, with patches of sagebrush and sparse trees scattered across the hills. A small creek winds its way through the dry land, shrouded in a light mist. Shadows move unnaturally across the ground, as if something unseen is lurking within them. The sky above is darkening, with the last bit of sunlight casting an eerie glow on the landscape. Nighttime, with a close-up of a man standing outside a lonely house on a hill. He looks tense, staring down toward a dark creek below. The air is filled with an eerie silence, broken only by faint, unintelligible voices that seem to come from the mist surrounding the creek. Fog swirls around the area, and ghostly silhouettes can be seen hovering near the water, but they fade into the darkness as soon as the man focuses on them. The atmosphere is heavy and ominous, with the distant mountains barely visible in the shadows. Two girls running down a dirt road as the sun sets behind them, casting long shadows across the ground. The road is empty and desolate, lined with sagebrush and low hills in the background. As they approach a gate leading to their driveway, their faces show panic. The scene is accompanied by distant, eerie screams echoing from the reservoir on the other side of the road. The screams sound like their younger sister, but the area is completely empty. The sky is darkening, and the atmosphere is tense, as if something unseen is watching them from the shadows. Close-up of a hand holding an ancient arrowhead, its surface weathered and worn. In the background, a house sits atop a hill under a grey sky, looking small and isolated against the vast landscape. The air feels heavy and oppressive, as though something malevolent is nearby. Fog drifts across the ground, and the distant sound of wind rustling through the sagebrush adds to the sense of unease. The camera pans out to show the man standing alone, surrounded by the barren Montana wilderness. The energy in the air feels unnatural, hinting at the presence of ancient spirits. Interior of a dimly lit living room at night, illuminated only by the flickering glow of a TV screen. The room is eerily silent, and through an open window a sudden blinding flash of light illuminates the walls, casting long distorted shadows across the furniture. The camera zooms in on a small dog sitting rigid on the couch, staring at the window, sensing something unseen. The atmosphere is thick with tension as a faint tapping sound can be heard from outside. The camera slowly pans to show the unnerved figure of the main character, frozen in fear, eyes fixed on the window. A foggy night scene, with a man walking down a hill toward a dark, mist-covered creek, rifle in hand. His dog follows closely, its ears pricked, sensing the same unseen presence. The air is thick with mist, and shadows dance in the periphery, almost as if something is moving just beyond the reach of the flashlight beam. The distant sound of voices surrounds him, faint and unintelligible, growing louder as he moves closer to the water. The camera shows ghostly figures half hidden in the fog, dissolving as soon as they are focused on. The scene is heavy with dread, the man tense and on edge. The interior of a dark bedroom, lit only by the faint glow of a small red light floating near a desk on the opposite side of the room. The camera zooms in on the light, casting eerie shadows of medals hanging on the wall. Suddenly, a shadowy figure appears near the bed, looming over the main character, its form indistinct but unsettling. The shadow stretches unnaturally across the ceiling, cast by an unseen light source. The atmosphere is thick with fear, but also with a strange sense of calm, as if the character is being watched by something far more ancient and malevolent. A misty early morning scene, with the camera focused on a strange, headless rabbit, moving in slow, jerky motions near a patch of sagebrush. Its body moves unnaturally, as though it's floating in water. The camera follows the rabbit as it disappears behind a large pile of sage. In the background, along the banks of a reservoir, a white figure drifts slowly, its legs fading in and out of sight. The camera zooms in as the figure moves in a haunting, repetitive motion, walking along the shoreline before vanishing behind a hill. The sun slowly rises, casting an eerie, pale light over the scene. A wide shot of the Montana landscape at dusk, with the family's house sitting alone on a hill in the distance. The sky is a deep, ominous purple, with shadows creeping across the land. In the foreground, ghostly shapes, indistinct figures, hover near the creek, barely visible but undeniably present. The camera slowly zooms out, showing the vast, desolate landscape, where the past seems to linger and the spirits never fully fade. The wind rustles through the sagebrush, and the air is filled with an unsettling sense of ancient, restless spirits. A dark screen with a fading image of the Montana wilderness at night. A barely visible figure moves through the shadows in the distance, vanishing as the screen fades to black. The only sound is the faint whisper of wind, hinting at something unseen lurking just beyond view.